He never meant to fall for her. She was his boss, after all. But when his co-workers dared him to finally cross that line, neither of them expected what happened next. Hey there, welcome to another heartfelt story on our channel. If you're enjoying these real-life inspired tales of love, courage, and second chances, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content that touches the heart. Now, let's dive into today's emotional journey. Michael Reeves clutched his phone, staring at the text message from his boss, Catherine. We need to talk. My office. 8 a.m. 6 simple words that made his stomach twist into knots. Was this about the Henderson account? Or worse, had someone told her about the dare? The dare that had started as a joke during last Friday's happy hour, when his co-workers, tired of watching him pine silently for 2 years, challenged him to finally ask Catherine out. What's the worst that could happen, they'd said. You get fired and become a single dad with no income, his mind had answered. At 36, Michael had mastered the art of playing it safe. After his wife's death 3 years ago, his daughter Emma became his world, his reason for everything. He couldn't risk their stability for what his heart wanted. Yet here he was, standing outside Catherine's office, palms sweating like a teenager. Through the glass partition, he could see her, poised, confident, reviewing documents with the focused intensity that had first drawn him to her. Catherine Zhang had taken over as regional director 18 months ago, bringing with her a reputation for brilliance and unwavering standards. What most didn't see was her kindness, how she'd arranged flexible hours when Emma was sick, or remembered every employee's birthday with personalized notes. Michael knocked softly. When she looked up, her usual professional smile was replaced with something different, something vulnerable. Close the door, Michael. The morning sun streamed through the windows, highlighting the subtle auburn in her dark hair. She gestured to the chair across from her desk, but remained standing herself. I received an interesting email last night, she began, her voice carefully measured. From HR. Michael's heart plummeted. This was it. Someone had reported the dare as inappropriate workplace conduct. He'd lose everything, the job he'd built over 7 years, the stability Emma needed. They've approved my request for a departmental restructuring, Catherine continued, watching him closely. I've recommended you for promotion to assistant director. Relief washed over him, followed immediately by confusion. Thank you, but I never applied for. I know. She moved around the desk, perching on its edge closer to him. I submitted the recommendation 3 weeks ago. It was approved yesterday. Why? Because you deserve it. Because you're brilliant at what you do. And, she paused, something shifting in her expression, because it resolves a certain, hierarchical complication. Michael's pulse quickened. Complication? I overheard your friends at Donovan's on Friday. A faint blush colored her cheeks. About the dare. Mortification crashed over him. Catherine, I can explain. I've waited 2 years, Michael. Her voice softened. 2 years watching you raise Emma with such devotion. 2 years of professional boundaries and careful distance. I'm done waiting. The world seemed to stop. What are you saying? I'm saying that starting next Monday, I won't be your direct supervisor anymore. She smiled, the professional mask falling away completely. And I'm saying that I'm done pretending I don't feel what I feel. But your career, the company policy, is why I've been working on this restructuring for months. She reached out, her fingers barely touching his. I didn't know about their ridiculous dare, but maybe it's the push we both needed. Michael thought of Emma, of the empty space in their lives, of the countless times he'd caught Catherine looking at him with the same longing he felt. I don't know what to say. Say you'll have dinner with me. Friday night. Not as my employee, not as a dare, but as a man who might be ready to take a chance again. The weight of possibility hung between them, terrifying and exhilarating. Emma has a sleepover at her friend's house Friday, he found himself saying. I'm free after 6. Catherine's smile lit up her entire face. I'm done waiting, Michael. Are you? The restaurant Catherine had chosen was intimate without being overtly romantic, a small Italian place with warm lighting and quiet corners. Michael arrived 15 minutes early, his nerves making it impossible to sit still at home any longer. He'd changed outfits 3 times, finally settling on a navy button-down that Emma had given him for his birthday. It makes your eyes look nice, Daddy, she'd said with the honest assessment only an 8-year-old could deliver. Emma. His heart squeezed thinking about her. She was the complication in all this, not because she would disapprove, but because she might hope too much. After losing her mother, Emma had developed a wariness about people leaving. How would she react to someone new entering their carefully balanced life? You're early too. Michael looked up to find Catherine standing beside his table, wearing a simple emerald dress that made her look both elegant and approachable. Gone was the severe bun she wore at work, instead, her dark hair fell in soft waves around her shoulders. I was just thinking about Emma, he admitted as she sat down. Catherine nodded, understanding immediately. How is she doing with all this? She doesn't know yet. I wanted to. I needed to be sure before bringing someone into her world. I respect that. Catherine's eyes held his. She comes first, always. That's one of the things I admire most about you. The waiter arrived with menus, and as they ordered, Michael felt the tension in his shoulders begin to ease. Outside the office, Catherine was different, more relaxed, quicker to laugh. She told him about growing up in Seattle with parents who had emigrated from Shanghai, about her college years studying economics when everyone expected her to become a doctor. What about you? She asked. Did you always want to work in marketing? Michael smiled ruefully. I wanted to be a photographer. Traveled for a year after college, taking pictures of everything. Then I met Sarah, we had Emma, and suddenly stability mattered more than adventure. A shadow crossed his face at the mention of his late wife, and Catherine reached across the table, her fingers lightly touching his. Tell me about her, she said softly. If you want to. Most people avoided the subject, uncomfortable with his grief. But Catherine watched him with genuine interest, creating a space where memories didn't have to be painful. She was a kindergarten teacher. Loved finger painting and hated cooking. She could make Emma laugh like nobody else. The words came easier than he expected. She got sick when Emma was 4. Pancreatic cancer. It was fast. Catherine's hand remained on his. I can't imagine how hard that was for both of you. The hardest part was after, figuring out how to be everything Emma needed. Her dad, but also the person who remembers to buy hair detangler and knows how to make a proper ponytail. You've done an amazing job with her. I've tried. Michael turned his hand over, their palms meeting. But sometimes I wonder if I've been hiding behind being a dad, using it as an excuse not to move forward in other ways. The conversation flowed through dinner, weaving between serious reflections and lighter moments. Catherine told him about her disastrous attempt at salsa dancing lessons, and he confessed to his ongoing battle with Emma's science fair projects. By the time they shared a tiramisu, something had shifted between them, the careful distance of the past 2 years replaced by a growing certainty. Outside the restaurant, the spring air carried the scent of blooming cherry trees. They walked slowly toward the parking lot, neither rushing to end the evening. I should tell you, Catherine said, stopping beneath a streetlight, I've never dated someone with a child before. I might make mistakes. I should tell you, Michael countered, I haven't dated anyone since Sarah. I'll definitely make mistakes. Her laugh was soft in the night air. So we're both venturing into unknown territory. Terrifying, isn't it? Completely. She stepped closer. Worth it, though. When he kissed her, it felt like crossing a threshold he'd been standing before for years, frightening and right all at once. The office rumor mill worked with predictable efficiency. By Wednesday, everyone knew about the restructuring and Michael's promotion. By Thursday, whispers about his dinner with Catherine had reached every department. His friends who had initiated the dare were merciless in their teasing. "So you actually did it," James said, leaning against Michael's cubicle. "You crossed the line with the boss." "Technically, she's not my boss anymore," Michael pointed out, trying to focus on the presentation on his screen. "Details, details." James grinned. "The real question is, when are you going to introduce her to Emma?" It was the question that had kept Michael awake for the past 5 nights. Catherine had been respectful of his pace, never pushing. They'd had lunch twice, texted constantly, but kept their interactions outside Emma's awareness. "I don't know," he admitted. "It's complicated." "Parenting always is," came a voice from behind them. They turned to find Diane, the department's senior account manager and mother of 3 teenagers. "But kids are more resilient than we give them credit for." "Emma's different," Michael said. "After Sarah died, she got so attached to our routines, our little team of 2. Change scares her." Diane's expression softened. "Have you asked her what she thinks? Not about Catherine specifically, but about the idea of you dating someone?" Michael shook his head. "I've been afraid of the answer." "Children often surprise us," Diane said. "Sometimes what we think is protection is actually our own fear." Her words stayed with him through the afternoon and into the evening as he prepared Emma's favorite dinner, spaghetti with extra cheese, no sauce for his picky eater. Emma chatted about her day at school, her words tumbling over each other in her excitement about the class turtle and the book they were reading. At 8, she was a miniature version of Sarah, same heart-shaped face and curious eyes, same tendency to get lost in stories. "Daddy," she said suddenly, twirling pasta around her fork with intense concentration, "is Ms. Zhang your girlfriend now?" The question caught him mid-sip, nearly causing him to choke on his water. "What makes you ask that?" Emma shrugged with the casual nonchalance of childhood. "Lily's mom works at your office too. She told Lily that you and Ms. Zhang were holding hands at Antonio's restaurant. And you've been smiling at your phone a lot." Michael set down his glass carefully. "Would it bother you if she was?" Emma considered this with the serious deliberation she gave to all important matters, from choosing library books to selecting ice cream flavors. "Does she make you happy?" "Yes," Michael answered honestly. "She does. Does she like kids?" "I think so, though she hasn't spent much time around them." Emma nodded, processing this information. "Would she live with us?" "No, sweetheart. Nothing like that. We've only just started getting to know each other better. But someday maybe?" Michael felt a tightness in his chest, fear and hope intertwined. "I don't know what might happen someday. Right now, we're just seeing if we enjoy spending time together." Emma twirled another perfect spiral of pasta. "I think it's okay if she's your girlfriend. But I should meet her first to make sure." The simple logic of children. Michael smiled, reaching across to squeeze her hand. "That seems fair. Would you like to meet her this weekend? Maybe we could go to the park. The one with the duck pond? If you want." Emma nodded decisively. "Okay. But I'm going to ask her important questions." "What kind of important questions?" "Like what her favorite ice cream is. And if she knows how to play Uno. And if she's going to make you happy so you don't look sad when you think I'm not watching." Michael's heart cracked open at her words. All this time, he'd thought he was protecting Emma from his loneliness, when she'd been quietly observing it all along. "I love you, Em," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "I know, Daddy." She smiled, Sarah's smile. "That's why I want you to have a girlfriend who makes you happy." The park was crowded with weekend visitors enjoying the spring sunshine. Emma had insisted on wearing her favorite blue dress and bringing her collection of special rocks to show Catherine, a sign of trust that Michael recognized as significant. They found Catherine waiting by the duck pond, looking both nervous and determined. She dressed casually in jeans and a soft green sweater, her hair pulled back in a simple ponytail. "Hello, Emma," she said, kneeling down to the child's level. "I've heard so much about you." Emma studied her with unabashed curiosity. "My daddy says you're very smart." Catherine smiled. "That's nice of him. I think he's very smart too. Do you like ducks?" "I do. Especially the little fuzzy ducklings." Emma nodded approvingly. "Me too. Do you want to see my special rocks? I brought them for you to look at." "I would love that." Michael watched as his daughter solemnly displayed her treasures, a piece of quartz, a smooth river stone, a sparkly bit of fool's gold from a science museum gift shop. Catherine examined each with appropriate appreciation, asking questions that delighted Emma with their seriousness. They spent the afternoon feeding ducks, getting ice cream. Catherine passed Emma's test by choosing chocolate chip cookie dough, a respectable flavor in Emma's hierarchy, and exploring the playground. Michael observed how Catherine never talked down to Emma, how she listened with genuine interest to his daughter's stories. When Emma ran ahead to the swings, Catherine turned to Michael. "She's amazing," she said softly. "So thoughtful and observant. She gets that from her mother." Michael watched his daughter pump her legs, reaching for the sky. "Sarah was always noticing things others missed." "She gets plenty from you too," Catherine said. "That determined look when she was trying to climb the monkey bars. Pure Michael Reeves." He laughed, feeling a weight lifting that he hadn't realized he'd been carrying. "This is going well, right? I'm not just seeing what I want to see." Catherine slipped her hand into his. "It's going well. She's giving me the 3rd degree, but I think I'm passing." As if on cue, Emma called from the swings. "Ms. Zhang. Can you push me higher?" "Duty calls," Catherine said with a smile, squeezing his hand before going to help Emma reach new heights. Later, as they walked Emma home, the little girl slipped her hand into Catherine's with the casual trust of childhood. Michael caught Catherine's surprised look, followed by a smile that contained both joy and trepidation, the expression of someone being handed something precious and fragile. At the door to their apartment, Emma turned to Catherine with serious eyes. "Do you want to come for dinner on Tuesday? It's taco night. Daddy makes the best tacos." Catherine glanced at Michael, who nodded encouragingly. "I would love that, Emma. Thank you for inviting me." "Good." Emma nodded decisively. "And you can bring a game if you want. Do you know how to play Uno?" "I'm a bit rusty, but I remember the rules." "That's okay. I'll help you remember." With that settled, Emma hugged Catherine quickly before darting inside, leaving the adults alone on the doorstep. "She likes you," Michael said softly. "I like her too." Catherine's eyes were bright with emotion. "She's extraordinary." "This is terrifying," he admitted. "Opening our lives like this." "I know." She touched his face gently. "We'll take it slow. One taco night at a time." He leaned forward, kissing her softly. "Thank you for being patient with us. Some things are worth waiting for." The months that followed unfolded in a series of small, significant moments. Taco Tuesdays became a regular tradition. Catherine learned the complexities of Uno, taught Emma how to make dumplings from her grandmother's recipe, and gradually became a fixture in their lives. At work, Michael thrived in his new role, finding confidence he hadn't known he possessed. The office gossip eventually died down, replaced by genuine respect for both him and Catherine as they maintained professional boundaries while navigating their personal relationship. It wasn't always smooth. There were arguments, about work, about parenting approaches, about the balance between their relationship and Emma's needs. There were moments when Michael retreated into old patterns of self-protection, and times when Catherine's perfectionism created unnecessary pressure. But there were also moments of profound connection. The night Emma had a nightmare and instinctively reached for Catherine as well as Michael. The weekend they spent at Catherine's family home, where her parents welcomed Emma with open arms and a bedroom filled with books. The evening Michael. The autumn air carried a crisp chill as Michael stood in the small garden behind their house. Yes, their house now, a modest 3-bedroom they'd purchased together 6 months ago. The move had been a big step, combining their lives into one shared space with room for Emma to grow and for their relationship to deepen. He adjusted the string lights one last time, making sure they cast a warm glow over the intimate gathering space he'd created. The wooden picnic table was set with Catherine's favorite dishes, candles flickering in mason jars down the center. Emma had helped him arrange wildflowers in mismatched vases, her artistic touch evident in the chaotic beauty of the display. "Is it time yet?" Emma called from the back door, practically bouncing with excitement. At 9 years old now, she wore her hair in 2 braids, a style Catherine had patiently taught her to do herself. "Almost, sweetheart. Is she still working?" Emma rolled her eyes in a perfect imitation of Catherine's exasperated expression. "Yes," she said, "just 5 more minutes 20 minutes ago." Michael laughed. "Some things never change. Should I use the secret code?" Emma asked, her eyes sparkling with mischief. "I think this qualifies as a code emergency." Emma nodded solemnly before disappearing back into the house. Moments later, he heard their special knock, 3 quick taps, 2 slow, followed by Emma's voice declaring, "Code Firefly. Family time emergency." It was a system they developed 6 months into dating, when Catherine's workaholic tendencies had threatened to overwhelm their budding relationship. Emma had been the one to suggest it, a special code that meant work had to wait because something more important needed attention. Michael smiled, remembering Catherine's face the first time Emma had used it, surprise, followed by genuine remorse, then determination to honor the boundary. It had been a turning point for all of them. The back door opened, and Catherine appeared with Emma tugging her hand. She wore simple jeans and one of Michael's old sweaters, her hair loose around her shoulders, so different from the polished executive who commanded boardrooms, yet equally beautiful to him. "What's all this?" she asked, taking in the transformed garden. "Daddy said it's a special celebration," Emma announced. "But he wouldn't tell me what for." Catherine's eyes met Michael's, a question in them. They'd been together for nearly 2 years now, building something neither had expected to find again, a family forged through choice rather than obligation. "Come sit," he said, pulling out a chair for her. As they ate dinner, the conversation flowed easily between them, Emma's upcoming science project, Catherine's new marketing campaign, Michael's photography that had recently been featured in a local gallery. They had become a unit, 3 distinct people whose lives had intertwined to create something stronger than they'd been separately. After dessert, Catherine's favorite chocolate mousse that Emma had helped prepare, Michael nodded to his daughter. On cue, she reached under the table and pulled out a small wrapped package. "This is from both of us," Emma said, placing it in Catherine's hands. Catherine unwrapped it carefully to reveal a handmade photo album. The cover, decorated in Emma's distinctive artistic style, read, "Our Family Journey," in colorful letters. "Open it," Emma urged, unable to contain her excitement. Inside were photographs documenting their time together, their first day at the park, taco nights, holidays, ordinary moments made extraordinary through the lens of love. Each page held memories, Catherine teaching Emma to ride a bike, Michael and Catherine dancing in the kitchen, all 3 of them covered in paint when they decorated Emma's new bedroom. Catherine's fingers traced the images, her eyes growing misty. "This is beautiful. Keep going," Michael encouraged softly. She turned to the final page, where a single photograph sat in the center, the 3 of them from last Christmas, laughing in matching sweaters. Below it was a small envelope. With trembling fingers, Catherine opened it and pulled out a simple card. Written in Michael's handwriting were the words, "We have one question." She looked up, confusion evident on her face, only to find Michael kneeling beside her chair. Emma stood next to him, practically vibrating with contained excitement. 2 years ago, Michael said, his voice steady despite his racing heart, my coworkers dared me to cross a line I'd been afraid to approach. It was the best dare I've ever taken. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. Catherine Zhang, you walked into our lives and made them infinitely better. You've never tried to replace what we lost, but instead created something new and beautiful alongside us. Emma stepped forward, placing her hand on Michael's shoulder. We talked about it, and we both want to ask you something important. Michael opened the box, revealing a vintage emerald ring that had belonged to his grandmother. Will you marry us? Will you make official what we already know in our hearts, that we're a family? Catherine's eyes filled with tears as she looked between them, the man who had dared to love again and the little girl who had welcomed her into their world. I'm done waiting, she whispered, echoing her words from that first pivotal moment. Yes. Yes to both of you. As Michael slipped the ring onto her finger, Emma launched herself into a group hug that nearly toppled all three of them. Their laughter rose into the night air, mingling with the soft glow of the string lights. Later, after Emma had finally gone to bed, still too excited to sleep, Michael and Catherine stood in the garden, her head resting against his shoulder. Did you ever imagine we'd end up here? She asked softly. That night when your friends dared you? Michael shook his head. Never. I was just trying to survive each day, to be enough for Emma. I wasn't looking for this. Neither was I. Catherine twisted the ring on her finger, still getting used to its weight. I had my 5-year career plan all mapped out. Nowhere on it did it say, fall in love with a single dad and his amazing daughter. Life's best moments are rarely planned, Michael said, kissing the top of her head. Sometimes they start with a dare and end with a family. Above them, stars punctuated the dark sky, countless possibilities stretching into infinity, just like the future that lay before them. Not perfect, not without challenges, but theirs to build together, one day at a time.